Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham and today I'm joined by Keren Paterson, who's Managing Director of Trigg Mining. Now, Keren, lots of exciting things happening out at your Lake Throssell sulphate of potash project in WA. I suppose the most exciting thing at the moment is the completion of the recent scoping study. I'll get you to talk about that. That included a resource increase, which is also good news. And you've moved into the pre-feasibility stage. Everything's happening. As we were saying just off air before we started, you're moving from exploration stage into the development stage. Tell me about it.
Well, it is very exciting to be doing that. We listed on the stock exchange just on 2 years ago this month. We hadn't yet set foot on Lake Throssell. We'd done all our homework anticipating that it would be the game changer that it is. But we hadn't drilled a single hole. In fact, no one had drilled a single hole at Lake Throssell. So this is a pure greenfields discovery. We announced the maiden resource in May this year, so it's all advanced really very quickly. A few upgrades since then, so an indicator resource in July and now the scoping study. So it really does show that this is a substantial project. The initial mine life is 21 years. And producing around about 245,000 tonnes per annum sulphate of potash every year for that period of time. So it's a substantial project. It's very exciting.
And producing that much sulphate of potash on an annual basis, at the moment, that's not a bad thing to be doing. The sulphate of potash global market, it's moving pretty well at the moment.
Yes, it's incredibly important for all of our food sources, especially the high nutrient foods. So anything that tastes good, looks good on the table, really does need sulphate of potash to produce it. And in the last 3 months, it's been on quite a price run. So our assumption in the scoping study, sorry, not feasibility yet, I'm jumping ahead of myself there, but it was $550 a tonne. Based on historical estimates and forecast prices, but the price has shot up in the last 3 months and is now edging on $800 a tonne.
Now, you were saying just before it was a greenfields project when you got it, nothing had been done to it, not one drill hole. You've moved in there, you've recognised its potential, you've realised its potential pretty much. So, what's next? You're moving into the pre-feasibility stage. What do you hope to achieve there?
It's all about now looking at making sure we've got the right picture for the project and de-risking. That's what the economic studies are all about from this point on. So the first part of that is environmental approvals. That is the critical path, which we started earlier this year, even before we announced the resource, knowing that that was the case so that we could get a bit of a head start on that. So we're now completing the spring surveys and we'll complete the first year of the baseline surveys for environmental scoping document next year. Then we need to do some more drilling and some more pump testing because sulphate of potash is found in water. So it's a little bit different to hard rock exploration. So we don't need so many drill holes, but we would need to pump it to be able to convert the basal aquifer to an ore reserve. And that's the basis of the pre-feasibility study.
And that's also what gives the project its ESG credentials, really, isn't it? The methodology behind it.
It really does, because this is still an active geological system. The water is dissolving the minerals over a very large area and bringing it down this ancient riverbed system, or paleo valley is what we've interpreted it to be. In our project area, it's about 36 kilometres long, 5 kilometres wide and 150 metres deep. And in that, we'll be harvesting the drainable brine. So not trying to dig it up, it is going to be pumping with trenches and bores. So no large permanent scars on the landscape like an open pit would be. And then using solar evaporation to evaporate the water and precipitate the various salt minerals that come out of the brine. And sulphate of potash being the most important of that, being a fertiliser that provides only nutrients that the plants need. So it also has this sustainability impact on agriculture, whereas it can be substituted for muriate of potash, which is an alternative potassium chloride, and that contributes about 50% of that product is a detrimental salt, poisonous to many, many plants, and farmers really rely on that to be leached out of the soils and into the waterways. So by using sulphate of potash instead, we'll see a better outcome from agriculture as well. So from the project, the process of producing this natural, potentially organic, certifiable sulphate of potash all the way through to its end user, being the farmers, increases sustainability throughout.
All right, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we're talking about the farmers and just sort of made me think of it. I've been told before that there's no domestic supply of fertiliser, sulphate of potash, whatever, within Australia, where all our farmers, they import it. Is that correct?
All of our potash needs have been imported up until now, both muriate and sulphate. And the farmers tell me it's really hard to get their hands on sulphate of potash and sometimes even muriate, just because of where we are globally and where it all comes from. But one of the peers in this sector has started producing commercial grade sulphate of potash, and I hope that that stays in the Australian market for the foreseeable future, because it would be great to see Australia become independent and not reliant on imports for our agricultural output.
And hopefully Trigg Mining can be a major contributor in that in the future.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Keren, we wait with bated breath, so to speak, for the results of the feasibility study to come through. That I have a feeling that's going to be just as exciting as the results of the scoping study. So until that starts coming through, and any other news that might hit the desk here at the Roadhouse that we can bring to our readers and viewers. Till next time, Keren Paterson, thank you very much for being part of the Resources Roadhouse.
Great. Thanks for having us, Wally.